Hey, it's Andy Aladort. Make sure you check out Nez Says, the guitar YouTube show hosted by David Nesdahl and Ty Price, Thursdays at 8 o'clock on David Nesdahl's YouTube channel. Check it out.
Hey everybody, it's Wednesday evening, March 17th of 2021, and you're tuned into Nez Says, a place where musicians can get together and inspire each other to play more music. Tonight we're just hanging out, and with me as always is Ty Price. How are you, Ty?
Hey Dave, hey Ben, good to be here.
Hey Ben, how are you?
Hey, like, share, and subscribe. I know the algorithm listens for that, so everyone should do that if you haven't already. And, man, Dave, do you mind if I do roll call?
Please do.
All right. We've got some imposter in the chat by the name of Ty Price. I don't know who that is. Probably a troll. Who knows,
Get him
right?
the hell out.
Troll.
Yeah, we've got moderators of the stars that can handle that. Terry's 3Gs. We've got Dan in New Jersey. We got the hitman himself, Dwight Bailey. We've got Kurt 5150.
Oh, hey, Kurt.
We've got my
up,
favorite
Kurt?
man from upstate New York. He's snowed in probably in Buffalo. He'll thaw around May, Mr. Thomas Santiago. And who else? We got Charlie S. We got all kinds of people. Lars Guitars, Guitar Man 45. Wow.
Hey, Dwight posted a new video this week, The Unforgettable Fortune, I think it is called. So if you guys are friends with Dwight in his social channels, you should go check out this video. And he's playing a wicked guitar. I mean, the guitar he's playing is awesome. And
Nice.
Kurt 5150, I think I saw Kurt and Rob.
Yeah, I think they're doing a show, or are they?
Yeah, that was
are
very
they
cool,
doing-
man. I
Is-
really enjoyed that.
Now, is that a one-off, or are they doing a show together from now on? Is that
Yeah,
what
so-
are they doing?
Kurt, are you and Rob going to kick something up and do something? That was great content. I enjoyed it.
There's our Habs. Good to see our Habs in here.
How's everyone doing? He says Step Brothers. So is that going to be an all the time thing, Kurt, or was that a one time thing?
Yeah. Hey, Guitar Man 45, what's happening, man? Lars Guitars. Lars Guitars had 68 reissue last
Yes.
week. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. He's going to come on the show at some point and show that to us, and show a couple more guitars to us.
Nice.
Can't wait for that to happen. It was a one-off. He wants to do something regular.
All right.
Yeah, that was cool.
Good luck.
Because I think, Kurt, you did something with Andrew last week, right? Where you guys did a 5150 show. I saw some of that content too.
Right.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Andrew's been putting in a lot of good stuff lately.
I know. I really like his channel.
So
I wish that I were able to tune into it live.
Right.
very cool. Very cool. And Kurt says that Rob wants to do something, so more to come. It's hard to nail it down. Yeah, I know. It's hard to nail everyone down. Everyone's getting to be so busy. So we hope the best for you, and if there is a show, we hope the best for you and your show.
Okay, Kurt says that he's the co-host on the 5150 show, so that's really cool. Is Steve Anderson still on that channel too? Let us know. Well, good. We're glad everybody's here. Happy Wednesday, and
Yeah.
a lot of cool things to talk about. Dave had a really cool experience yesterday that we want to talk about. You remember last week, Dave had the opportunity to go to Well Strung Guitars. Hey, Music Therapy Labs, what's up, man?
You said well strung, right?
Yes,
Well Strung Guitars.
Okay. Just checking.
And he got to play some really cool vintage guitars last week. And if you saw the video that's on the Nez Says YouTube channel, you saw Dave share a 57, not a reissue, a 57 Les Paul last week. And tell us about your visit this week, Dave.
Well, this week the guitar of the week was Bill Carson's '68 Rosewood Telecaster, which isn't really rosewood. The neck is rosewood, but Philip Kubicki was the guy who made all those Rosewood Telecasters. He made George Harrison's guitar, and Bill Carson was the vice president of Fender at the time. So he asked Philip if he'd make a Rosewood Tele, but make it out of ash and paint it the same color to make it look like a Rosewood Tele. So the guitar is lightweight. It actually sounds like a Telecaster. It's an amazing playing guitar. Now, we don't know if it's just the luck of the draw or if maybe Philip Kubicki, knowing that he had to make this guitar for the vice president of Fender, so it's an extra special guitar. This guitar had not one scratch on it, not one ding, not one scratch, not one. The pickguard maybe had a scratch or two on it, just the pickguard. No belt buckle rash in the back, no elbow wear here, no nothing. The guitar was pristine, with photos of Bill Carson holding it, with a certificate of authenticity from Fender and Bill Carson. The guitar was just under 7 pounds. It rang like crazy. That was the guitar of the week. The other guitar that I played was a Cherry Sunburst 59 Les Paul, which it was one of 7 that he had there. Now, it started its life as a Cherry Sunburst, but it was an unburst. It was like a lemon burst because all the red goes away. So this guitar, one of the best guitars I ever played in my life. I know I say that a lot, but this one really has, so far, has taken the cake.
59.
59. It had Grovers
the Holy
on
Grail.
it. It had Grovers on it and then off, and then the original tuners back on it. So it had those rings on the headstock where the Grover, where the Grovers you would have known that they were changed, but who cares? Big frets, factory big frets. It was everything that you would think a burst would be. A late 50s humbucker Cherry Sunburst guitar would be.
So it had the originals on it.
Yes.
And the Grovers, I'm trying to imagine because I've got
the front,
both
the
sets right
front.
here.
You see the front of the headstock where it has the
Here?
Yes. So
Yeah.
it had the imprint of that, but it was the smaller grommet that goes inside.
Okay. Here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, amazing. The necks on most 59s are very small. They're a lot smaller than any reissue you'll ever play. I said it on the video. It's like playing a 1960, maybe version 2, maybe version 3 Les Paul. So it's a slim tapered neck as far as reissues go, but they're here. I'll show a picture of the guitar. This
show
is
a picture of
David.
it.
This is David actually holding it while I took a picture of it. And let me put this up here. So that's the guitar. I know it looks like a gold top from there because of the way the photo.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
But that's the guitar. You notice that that burst really, although it's old and it has dings and scratches in it, they're not really relict. They're not really terribly beat up. And they're shiny. The whole VOS thing. It's not really what an old one looks like. You see how shiny that is from where you see the window shine?
Yeah.
That's a shiny guitar.
Yep.
And
love
it's been played. It's not a case queen. It's a shiny guitar and it's beat up and it is amazing.
That's awesome. I want to say hey to a couple of guys. Mikey Settlemeyer's here. Good to see you. I Rock the Blues. He says you played the Holy Grail of guitars. I Rock the Blues. That's a cool name, man.
Mm-hmm. Chris Bevins here.
Chris Bevan. Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Crazy Kook,
Crazy
678.
Goose. Yeah.
Yeah, hey.
Or Crazy
Good to see you,
Cook.
man.
Kook.
I love the
Could be either
guitar,
way.
Dave. Dave, did you plug it in?
No, he doesn't. You see the amps in the back behind the chair? They're there
Yeah.
for show. They're not plugged in. He's got a brown face amp downstairs, but as you guys know, I'm on a walker, so I can't get up and downstairs very easily. And I choose to play the wood when I sit there and play. Anyone could plug a guitar in and hear what it sounds like electrified, but really the way to tell how good any guitar is, let alone a vintage guitar, is sit there and strum some chords and listen to the wood. And that's what I did. I sat in there's a chair right in front of him that looks just like that seat right there. I guess it's out of like a 60s, some sort of coupe. It's supposed to be like a like a car seat type thing. And we'll show you pictures of the whole showroom as the night goes on. But I don't have pictures of all the Les Pauls because they're in a little hallway on the wall right near the office. And for me to get a walker back there and take a photo without falling into the guitars would be impossible. But next week when I go there, I'll have him take a photo of all the bursts.
That's an awesome guitar right there.
And one guitar that I do want to talk about real quick.
Dave, before you move on, what about that looked like an SG Junior back there?
This here.
The cream one.
Can you see my? Can you see my?
Can't see your mouse.
My mouse.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super clean. That one. It's a 63.
Okay, I think you've seen my cursor, but
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
See Ben's.
Cool.
Man, look at that. Ooh.
I noticed this little beauty right in behind it, a nice 61
I
right
saw
there.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
What's up,
And
Terry Hine?
next to
Jimmy
it
Carr?
in red, it should be a 61 as well. 61 standard.
Right
No,
on the edge.
to the left of it, or to the right of it. I mean,
Oh,
the
back
other,
here.
the other. Yep, that one.
Right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey Terry.
Beautiful stuff.
Hey Jimmy Carr.
So that guitar was pretty amazing. I didn't ask to play a bunch of guitars this week because he couldn't really sit with me for a while. He had a lot of work to do, but he said, "Sit there. You don't have to go home. You can ogle all the guitars you want. You can take photos of whatever you want. I just can't sit next to you today because I'm a little busy," is what he said. So, of course, I don't ever want to
Get in the way.
put him out or anyone. Paige was there, but she was extremely busy doing orders over the computer, internet orders. When I was there, they sold an old, maybe it was a Music Master, I think. I think they sold a Desert Sand Music Master, like an early '60s one. They were about to sell a 51 Nocaster, which was
Sweet.
ridiculous. A ridiculous.
You know, one thing that just stuck out to me when you were describing the Les Paul, you were saying that the neck, it's slim.
Yes, from front to back, from front to back, as if it was in your palm. It's not, it's not like any reissue. The necks on original old Gibsons are usually a lot smaller than its reissue version of it. And that's one thing that Dave had said. He said that the custom shop really exaggerates what the neck profile is on a real one. They like.
Why
really,
is that?
For a while, when they were making those things, people were into big necks. Like they wanted the bigger the better. So Gibson accommodated them, and I honestly don't think that Gibson wants to put out a 100% true
No.
version of a real one, because that'll bring the price of real ones down further. Because if you can get one that feels 100% like one, including looking and everything, all the appointments, why do you need to buy a vintage one?
Because the vintage one is the vintage one.
Well,
I mean,
yes.
I guess from I guess the part that I have I understand the argument that you're making. I think it's a very valid, and it could be a very justifiable reason. But at the end of the day, A 59 reissue made in 2021 is not a 1959 Les Paul.
No, of course not. Of course not. The wood is
No matter how identical it is, the same way the Frankie, the Frankie reissues at 25K aren't the real thing.
right. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. No matter what you do to a brand new guitar, it's not going to be 50 years old, 60 years old. It's not going to be 60 years old. It's not going to have all that time in it. It's not going to have all those smoky bars. It's not going to have the dry wood. It's not going to have anything that a 60-year-old Les Paul is going to have.
How much
It's
did
just
it weigh,
never-
Dave?
8.5 pounds, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe?
Dave, what do you, Ben? What do y'all think the obsession with Les Paul weights are? Why are so many? Look, I'm a Les Paul player. I have Les Pauls. I'm never obsessed with the weight of a guitar. No.
It seems by far the number one model guitar where weight is a conversation piece. Like a Tele and a Strat, the weight is more in passing, it seems, whereas it's for Les Paul, the weight listed in an ad, the weight is just as important as what pickups are in it. It seems. Why we have that fascination, I'm not sure, but I think, like Dave said, that 8.5 pounds seems to be that sweet spot.
Yeah, but I'm going to debunk that whole theory.
Yeah,
The
because
whole
I'm never
theory-
obsessed with the weight of it.
No,
The whole
I
theory,
either like it or I don't.
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
whole theory behind a lighter guitar sounds better. Last week, I played two original 1954 Strats, real 1954 Strats. One was 6.5 to 7 pounds, fairly light. The other one was maybe 11 pounds. Both of them in ridiculous shape. The one that was 11 pounds
Uh-huh.
resonated better and sounded better. Go figure.
Mhm.
Just did. Just
Makes
a great
sense to me.
guitar. It was a great guitar. It just resonated at both same woods. Ash body, maple neck, very similar, big necks, big U shape. Actually, David calls them C-shaped necks. They're not U because they're not like an old broadcaster or an old no-caster. They're like C-shape, kind of like this guitar. It's C-shape. This neck feels very similar. We'll get to this guitar in a little bit, but this neck is very similar to the 54 Strats that I played. It's a big C.
I noticed that the Gibson Custom Shop is using that C descriptor in
Yeah.
a lot of the new, like the new 58 custom shops are, they're calling it a medium C chunky
Yeah.
or a medium C. I noticed that they're using that now instead of, don't hold me to this, but 5 or 6 years ago, roughly or so, they were using it as a 50s rounded, and I know that they still use that as a descriptor on some of some of the standards, but
Yeah.
but that's how they were describing a lot of the custom shop stuff. It seems like they're getting a lot more specific now with the way in which they're describing the neck, because I think a lot for a lot of players, the feel of the neck is the first thing that a lot of players gravitate toward. You know almost immediately whether you can get on with the guitar or not, just by the way the neck feels.
Mhm.
Hey, Chris has a question. It says, David Todd, does ESP branded pickups only come in ESP guitars, or can you order them? Not sure. Any information will help.
To tell you the truth, I honestly don't know. I would imagine they only come in ESP guitars because I don't know that you can buy ESP parts.
I
you
don't
used to
know
be able
either.
to in the late 70s and 80s. You could buy ESP parts in New York City at 48th Street Custom Guitars, but I don't think they have a place that you can actually buy those parts anymore.
I would,
It's a good
I
question.
wouldn't even know if they're like, are they an actual in-house pickup or are they made
Private
for
label.
them. You know,
Branded.
like are they DiMarzio's but
Yeah.
branded as ESP? You
Right.
know?
I mean, like the EVH Floyd Rose. It's not made by EVH. It's outsourced by Floyd Rose in
Yep.
Korea, and then he just puts his stamp on them.
Exactly.
So-
And hello to Fast Eddie VH.
Yeah. Hey.
It's a good question because I've picked up LTDs in like music stores, and they're always great playing, great sounding guitars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's good.
And I did want to follow up with something with you, Ty. You were saying neck profile is the first thing a lot of guys notice. That's the second thing I notice. I notice the weight first because I got to pick up the guitar before it goes in my lap. You know,
Well, that's-
and you notice that just off the rack. I don't know what it is, but we have those guitar player shoulders where we can sense that extra pound, you know, or half
Absolutely,
a pound.
or
you know?
ounces, just ounces.
Yeah, we're just like, oh, you know, and that, you know, in the brain, it's, I swear, as you're bringing it towards you, your brain's, you know, already thinking, that weight, it should, and you're already formulating a tone in your head, you know, because of these, you know, brainwashings we've had. Oh, it's heavy, it's going to sound darker. Or, oh, whereas I always thought, no, heavier guitars should have more sustain. It's why we put big brass blocks in our trim systems, you know, like weight equals sustain because it's solid, you know.
You know, I've never really. This is where, you know, I have to rely on you guys because I never really look at everything you're saying makes perfect sense to me now that you're articulating it to me in this way. But I don't really think about that technical side of the guitar or how it's built or really how it's put together right away. I tend to just say, okay, well, how does it play and how does it sound? Because David, like back to what you were talking about earlier, you know, thinking about the way it sounds acoustically when you put it in your lap, I like that. I will never forget the first time that I picked up a PRS guitar years and years ago, and just being floored at how the guitars rang.
Right.
You know, this.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, how it rings. Because for me personally, I really don't care how a guitar plays when I first pick it up. Because I know that when I get it home, I'm gonna make it play the way I want to make it play. Because chances are, when it's in a music store, it's gonna play like crap. It's gonna play it with high action. Chances are heavier strings than I like. Possibly not in tune, you know. Which, by the way, when you go to well-strung guitars, your guitars are all set up nicely and they're in tune.
I'm sure.
And when you play, when you're playing a $500,000 guitar, it's in tune. Trust me.
Yeah.
But you know, I know you said it's got to play good, and that's one of the first things that 90% of people say. Oh, the guitar's got to play good. Don't worry about how it plays. You can make it play any way you want to make it play. Make sure you like the guitar. Don't worry about how it plays.
Yep.
Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. You go get an Armani suit. You're not hoping that Armani suit that's on the rack is going to fit well, because it's not going to. You have to have it tailored for you.
And maybe I should refine what I said, but because the way I define like playing good, it's got to like feel good. It's got to be balanced. For me.
Ergonomics.
Yeah, it's
Understood.
got to it's got to be balanced. That neck shape's got to be right for me. It's got to feel. It's got to feel a certain way for me, because I agree. I mean, I can fine tune it or send it to you, Dave, and you can fine tune it and always make it play better.
Sure.
But that guitar's got to do something for me like right away.
It's got to have that foundation there, that base.
Otherwise,
for you.
exactly. Otherwise, I can't get along with it.
Yeah, it's like
So-
you don't mind doing a setup. You don't want to have to reshape the neck just
Right.
to make it playable, right?
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Correct. So IROC Z Blues says then you get into the Gibsons with the long neck tenons. Now,
Let's talk about that.
I come
Yeah.
from the Joe Bonamassa camp of I like the 60 bursts better because they have the short neck tenons. And the 60 burst with the short neck tenons, there are two different types of Les Pauls, vintage Les Pauls. There are the moaners and there are the screamers. Now the moaners are the 58s and 59s with the long neck tenons, and they're very warm, sometimes too warm. And then you have the 60s, which tend to be a little bit brighter. They cut through a mix much better. They sound like just big tellies, which is what a Les Paul is supposed to sound like. It's not supposed to be this big growly moany thing. It's supposed to be a Telecaster on steroids. That's what they were made to be, a heavier Telecaster. Now, and that's what 60s are. The smaller neck tenon, thinner neck, and they punch more. And I personally like that better. Now, I'm not going to kick a 59 Les Paul out of bed. You know, I just I would rather have a 60. At least nowadays, now that I know more what I really want. You know.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, Tony?
But, yeah, hey Tony, how are you? So neck tenons, long neck tenons, I mean they're good for a lot of things, but you know, sometimes a guitar that's really warm and really bassy isn't as good as you want. It's not that good. You don't want you know. I used to be the biggest offender of this. I used to think, well, I'd get together with my friends. We all had the same guitars. Let's see which one is warmer. Well, you don't want the warmer one. You want the one that's a little bit brighter because if you're playing in a band, you want to be heard.
Yep.
You know, and warmer ain't going to cut the same way that bright is going to cut.
All right, so I've heard this. I mean, I've heard short versus long tenon forever. So, but I don't know that I can. So, from a layman's standpoint, Dave, tell us how we can know whether the tenon's long or short.
Well, you know, you got to take the neck pickup out of the body, and you'll know. You just visually, you'll know which one's the shorter one because the long one will come into about halfway into the neck cavity, and you'll see it. You'll see where the neck tenon is because it's not kind of connected to the body. It's just glued to the body. And the shorter neck tenon is going to be towards the neck part of the cavity. Where the long tenon will be in the middle of the cavity, the short one will be towards the neck a little more. So it's easy to see which is which.
Yeah. That goes for SGs as well. SGs,
Yeah,
they've been flirting with long and short neck tenons on and off for decades, and some people prefer long, some people prefer short.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey says 60s profiles is what he likes.
Same.
Yeah, I think I like them. Well, this is a 57, and then this is a custom, so they're both kind of 50 profiles. But
And I'd also like to point out, I think we've hit a new level of guitar nerdery when we're talking tone differences of neck tenons. Just saying, I've never heard that
super
on a
nerds.
live stream
Yeah.
before. So.
Yeah, sorry guys, sorry chat that we're being.
Well, I got to
so
tell you,
nerdy, but
I bet you they're still
That's
here.
why they're here.
I can see the numbers still here, so it's got to be some sort of interesting to people.
I love it myself. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know that I could walk. I don't know that I can walk away and say I'm a 50 shape or a 60 shape guy. I just either like the guitar or don't like it. God, I wish I were more educated like y'all about it, but I just either like it or not.
iRock Z Blue says that Bonamassa guitars all have long neck tenons. The new Epiphone 59 standard has a long neck tenon. Well, that's because it's a 59. It's a reissue of a 59. It's going to have a long neck tenon. But the guitars that you see Joe playing, at least in the last 5 years when he's playing live, he has brought more 1960 Les Pauls out than he has brought 59s out. And he has said it himself. You can go on YouTube, go to watch the Nerdville East.
So Dave, if this is a 57, then
Long
chances
neck
are
tenon.
this is a long, and this
Yes.
is a 68. This would be short.
yes, should be.
Probably. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
Lars is saying that my 68 should have a long tenon.
Whereas I would say it should be short because when they brought it back in 68, the first part of the 68 model year was leftover 60 model year parts, and those should be then short neck tenons because if they switch to short in 60,
And I gotta tell you,
I guess
I
I'm
don't.
going to have to take the pickup out to
I'm not-
find out.
I'm not.
Oh, Lars says not on a custom.
Okay, well, I'm not very knowledgeable of customs as I am of standards. I've only owned one custom in my life. I never took it apart, never took the pickups out. So I honestly, I don't know the answer.
You know how much I'm resisting texting JJ right now for him to pull the neck pickup out of a 68 to check the neck 10 in length? Because
All I
he knew
know-
it too.
All I know is that guitar, it plays like a beast.
No,
Well,
does that
sure
have
it
the
does.
super small
And it
frets on
sounds
it?
amazing.
Ty?
What's that?
Look,
Does it have the super small frets?
It
Being
does
a
not.
68?
It does not. I don't know about yours, Lars, but because I don't know what year yours. Oh, I think you said yours is a recent year, so yours is probably
19,
a
I
little more
think he
accurate
said.
than mine.
Yeah.
But
think it
so
was
his is
like-
probably more accurate than
Yeah,
mine.
because
But
JJ 68 is basically a fretless wonder.
yeah, but his is
Mine-
an
mine is
original
not.
68, right?
Yeah, his is an original, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If it's a reissue, that's what a big problem I have with reissues.
medium,
It's
medium
not a reissue
jumbos,
then.
medium jumbos.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
you know,
tribute.
I gotta tell you, I hate fretless wonder guitars. They're
Yeah.
useless. They are useless.
Depends on what you're playing with them.
Yeah.
Like, so
I love them.
if you were playing jazz, that'd be your ride.
His is a 2020.
A 2020,
Nice.
okay. But
Yeah.
Dave, if you were playing jazz on a fretless wonder with 12s,
different story.
yeah, I mean,
12
yeah,
flats.
you would be. Yeah, you would. I mean, you'd be in heaven. That'd be your guitar.
Yeah. But that's the one thing, like we're saying, like, an R9, it seems like they make a different change every year to make it closer to the original.
and
But
that's all for
marketing.
Marketing, exactly.
Yeah. It's not
So
like
that
you've
you buy the
uncovered a
newest
new
one.
59 that all of a sudden was a completely different spec and that rewrites
Yeah.
the books. Like,
Right.
how many times do you have to look at a 59 to get it right?
Well, the Murphy Lab is the new spec for a new.
Oof.
Hang on one second.
Weak in the knees. Every one of those that I see, just
Right.
Yeah.
good lord. I'm never going to own one.
At $11,000 for a brand
No.
new guitar doesn't make
Never
sense.
going to
to
own
me.
one. Yeah.
That's
Hey, Paul.
a lot of money.
So why don't we
Yeah.
get some photos of the showroom up so we can see?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's cool.
All right, so close that one. Bring up. Yeah, we'll start with the first one. Why not? Well, lowers. First one you took because it's the lowest number, apparently. Let's see. Share a screen. There.
Okay. So
Do
here are
we
the
see your
juniors, the juniors and the basses. Look at all those colors. Now these are not reissues. None of these are. These are all vintage 50s and 60s basses. There are not even any 70s in here. Same thing. These are all 50s. This third. Oh, I don't have your.
Yep.
I'm using my cursor and you guys can't see it. So I'm
Can you
stupid.
can you go full screen on that?
I can. I don't think it's going to be much larger, but that's as big. Full screen. Can I do it? No, I can't.
What would you like me to point out, Dave? I see.
Look at the third double cut SG. Right,
Right there.
Yes. Now that's a 1960. That guitar is on hold for me. That guitar.
Are you
is,
serious?
Yes,
Wow.
that guitar is on hold for me
So
personally.
tell us about that guitar.
It's a 1960 double cut junior in cherry. It is in immaculate condition, big frets, thin neck, very lightweight, rings forever. The P90 neck guitar is ridiculous, super well balanced. And I told him last week, he put that in my hands, and I told him, I said, well, how much is it? He told me the price. I said, I'm going to start selling guitars this week. Please. When I say I want something, I usually get it. So please, if you can help it, don't sell that. Sell it to me. And he's holding it for me. It's on hold.
Nice.
But
Very
all of those juniors right there in that corner are just, they're all crazy good. Crazy good. The next, get to the next picture.
Sure. Oh, and I do
Look
want
at
to
those-
point out he
look at
has
those bases.
my I guess what do you call it, once in a lifetime bass, second from the end on the right, that Telly bass. Come on.
Oh yeah, actually that's not
I
a Telly
know.
bass. That's a precision bass from '51.
Oh, okay.
But they were called. But weren't they called
No,
telly basses?
They started calling them telly basses in '68. They
Right.
remade
Okay.
them with 2 pickups in '68,
right.
Okay.
and they were called telly basses.
Paul says, what kind of pickups were in that SG, Dave?
Which SG?
The one that's on hold for you.
Oh, that's a junior. It's not an SG. That's a real junior, double cut junior.
Okay.
It's a 1 P90. It's a real P90.
Cool.
Screen. There.
Okay, so again, there's one actually the two thin line tellies in the middle there are both 68s, I believe. So there is not one 70s guitar there. The second white telly in is a telly custom double bound in blonde. You never saw that. No one has ever seen one of those. The Bill Carson guitar is that one with the photo on it that looks like it's a rosewood telly. That's
Right.
the guitar there. The ashtray looks like it's brand spanking new. The custom colors, they look like lollipops, and they all look like reissues. They're just so clean.
Oh,
If that's a lefty telly right there in the middle, right?
Yeah, that's a lefty telly, and he has a lefty. I want to say 56 on the floor. Maybe it's a 56. I think blonde, 55 or 56 as well. It's got to find a lefty 50s anything is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got 2 lefty Telecasters.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just noticing some of those thin lines along the floor
They're
there.
all every color under the sun. Every color you'll see in a couple
Amazing.
of pictures coming up.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, David Scher's getting a new guitar this week. I saw that.
Nice.
David, on your Facebook page. He's getting a
Yes.
Night Swan. That's wicked.
Oh, really?
Congratulations.
That's awesome, man. When you get your Night Swan, you'll have to come on and show it to us. Talk about it one night after you've had a chance to bond with it, if you're willing. If you're willing
Yeah,
to come
sure.
on.
Okay, for the
you
335.
can tell I get the preview, right? It comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the 335s, these guitars, the first one up top is a Sunburst 58, no binding on the fretboard, on the neck, no binding. Then the rest of them, I believe, are 59s. There might be a 60 or 2 in there. They are just all, again, everything is pristine. It's pretty. There's no player grade. They're all collectible grade. Everything.
Since we all love 335s, what's everyone's preferred finish? Is it the natural, the cherry, the burst?
Well, mine is the Albert Hall spec. 64 block in cherry.
Very
I like
nice.
that a lot too. I
Yep.
like ebony finishes on 335s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for those bursts. I don't know.
So if you walk down that hallway, past that counter, down the hallway on the right, is where the bursts are. Is where the Les Pauls are. And they're not high either. They're on the bottom row.
Do you like that dark tobacco? Or
Yeah,
that
like
Yeah,
dark
I
burst
like
kind
that.
of-
Yeah, that 58 and that 59 next to it on
Yeah.
the top. Those are my
Yeah.
2 favorite. Yeah.
I like those too.
Exactly. And there's something about that unbound neck too. I don't know. I just love it.
Yep.
I mean, maybe because it's different.
My
It's also easier.
Mickey
to
likes the
fret.
natural. Mickey's into the natural. I know a guy that plays a natural 335. I associate those with him.
Hey, Milt.
Hey Milt, how you doing?
Hey, Milt.
All right, what else we got?
Let's see. What else do we have? Next on the hit parade. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I think this
Terry
is gonna
was
be,
into the
this is gonna
330
be
with
your,
the P90. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. Ty's about to lose it here. So
Yeah, I think you all are.
yeah.
Okay, so if you guys want to know what $2 million looks like,
Hey, Chad.
$2 million looks like this. Those are all Blackguard 55 50, 51, and 52 and 53 Telecasters.
Wow.
Ugh. Wow.
And some Esquires as well. But I think all of those right there are Telecasters. The line goes. I can only fit that many in, but the line goes about 6 or 7 more towards the back, and those are all original. None of them, nothing in the store is a reissue. Those are all original Blackguard Telecasters, Broadcasters, No-Casters, and Esquires.
Beautiful.
Dave, what's a no-caster? What's market value of a collector grade no-caster?
$100,000.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They've really shot up the last few years.
There's one in here. Let me see if I can find it. The 53 Tele that I played that I'm in love with is the one. You see the Telecaster with the 2 squares
Yeah.
on the bout. The one in front
Yeah.
of that is that one there is a player grade 53 Telecaster. Now it's his version of a player grade, which is still a collector guitar as far as I'm concerned. It's got some weather checking, not very much belt buckle rash, not very much a neck wear, but his version of it, and that's $35,000. That guitar.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Because he might call that player condition, but if that photo is at all doing it justice, which you can still see, like there's a shine to her.
Oh yeah, they all have shine.
That's 35 all day.
Yeah, that guitar is just ridiculous.
Are those thin lines on the floor behind?
Yes. They're all 68 and 69s.
You got a paisley skin up here, and I remember when you had him on the show. The double bound, the double bound.
Yes, but
black.
you can see on the other side, two guitars in the blonde. That's with white binding.
Right here.
Yeah, no,
that's the lefty.
The one behind that gold guitar.
Oh wow.
Second one from the right of of Bill Carson's guitar.
Oh,
That
this one
right
here.
there, right on top. Yes, that's
Wow.
white binding.
Oh, you
Hard
can
to
just
see
kind
there.
of see it just on the horn there.
Yeah.
Okay.
When do
Yeah.
you ever see that? Have
You don't.
ever seen
That's
that?
like almost ghosted in binding. That's sick. That Fender. If you're watching, reissue that with the aging. So because originally those 2 colors didn't match, the binding and the paint, but
Right.
over time, Kismet being what it is.
We got a couple of questions, Dave, for you. Guitar Man 45 says, "Does this guy have the National Guard there to protect all these guitars?" That's funny. Couple questions. Chad asked to explain what a no-caster is.
Do you want me to do it, Dave?
Yeah,
or yourself?
I thought I'll do it. Whatever you want to do. A no-caster is, well, first of all, you got to go back. In 1949, the original guitar was called Fender Broadcaster,
Yeah.
and Broadcaster. And Gretsch sued Fender because Gretsch had a drum set named the Broadcaster with a K. So what Fender had to do is they stopped naming the guitar the Broadcaster, and instead of getting a whole new shipment of decals, they just snipped the word Broadcaster off Fender, put the word Fender on the guitar, and since it didn't say any type of caster, they just called it a no-caster. And then Leo had this great idea. Well, TV just came out. These guitars are going to be seen on TV, so let's call it the Telecaster. And they chose the blonde because TV was black and white, so it was a no-brainer. You didn't have to know what color it was. It showed up nicely on black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Didn't
next
wash out.
guitar, yes, this next
Well,
guitar.
Paul has a question too. He says,
Okay.
"How many no-casters are there? 200, less, more?"
I really don't know. However many they made in They made them in late 1950 to very late 1951. I've seen Telecasters built in 1951. So that was only 1 year, maybe 9 months. 9 months of no casters.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
there are
parts
not
of
that
2
many.
model years, but how much? Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah. So here's the Bill Carson guitar.
Hey Jay, good to see you.
Good to see
I'm,
Jay.
I'm
here.
really,
up, Jay?
I'm really digging your record, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks like a real 1968 Rosewood Telecaster, like you would have seen George Harrison use on the rooftop. But that guitar's body is not rosewood; it's made out of ash. That was painted the way they did the Rosewood guitars, and that really looks good. It really looks amazing.
Hey Dave, Paul's got another question. He said, "Did no casters have a truss ride?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Only the first few broadcasters didn't. Maybe the first month or two. After that, everything had truss rods.
And Dave, in the bigger picture that you had, how many of those were broadcasters?
I think there was one broadcaster.
Okay.
The rest of them were all Esquires, no casters, and Telecasters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very cool guitar.
It is a very cool guitar.
Do we have any more photos? I think we have maybe one more or two more.
Let's see.
I think we didn't show off the strap.
Oh, we have 5 more, Dave.
Oh, okay.
You. Somebody was busy with their iPhone.
Now, granted, these guitars are all in one little area. The showroom is very small, but it is powerful. Now, if you can imagine that those Blackguard Telecasters alone were worth $2 million. Here we go. Here's more.
I'm just going to
juniors.
jangly heaven here, looking at all those 12s in the back. Oh God!
Oh yeah.
I've never seen that many in one place.
How about all the colors?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Color matching headstocks. Oh my.
Mickey, the shop is called Well Strung Guitars. You can find them online.
Yes,
on their
they're in
website.
Farmingdale, Long Island, on Main Street.
Paul, I agree. It's an amazing design by someone that didn't play. He did listen to players. He did take what he learned from players and built it right. And to this day, his designs have stood the test of time.
Just looking. This, Dave, is this actually a special, or is that?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've seen a special with the trim system.
Yeah, they're pretty rare actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And that's TV yellow, that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's sick. And this original Epiphone. Whoo.
Yeah. I think that's called a Wilshire.
That's it. Wilshire. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, trivia question. Which 80 shredders played Wilshire-shaped guitars in the 80s?
Oh.
Come on, somebody's got to know this.
Wilshire.
Rick Nielsen did.
Which 80s shredders played Wilshire-shaped guitars? in
First
the
of all, I'm
80s?
thinking, can you shred on a Wilshire? I
These
don't
guys
know.
could. These two guys could.
Yeah.
Paul and Bruce from Racer X.
Oh yeah,
Of course they. Well,
But they were
because they
Ibanez's.
can, right? Because
Yeah.
they can.
and they were Ibanez guitars. They only had the shape, which you just said. It was only a Wilshire shape, but they were hot rodded guitars.
Yeah, those are cool guitars.
Hello,
Nolte
Boutique.
has a question. What is the oldest telly y'all have played or seen?
Oh, me, 1950 broadcaster.
52 for me.
I know for sure a 57. I don't know if I played earlier than that, but I know for sure I played a 57. And I know the oldest telly Milt's ever played is this guitar right here.
Hey, Bozique, good to see you.
Because Milt's been a friend of the family since the mid '80s. So
So,
Very
so
cool.
Ben, I know you've showed that guitar before. Tell us a little bit more about that Telecaster.
sure. This is a 1967 Telecaster.
Now, is that a smuggler's telly? Is there a big route underneath that pickguard?
You know, I don't think so, but I don't know for sure because I don't think this guard has been off since the EMGs were installed in '85.
Do you happen to know what a smuggler's telly is?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So for those
Come on, Dave.
who-
Out of all your friends, I would know.
Okay. I bet you maybe one person in the chat may know what a smuggler's telly is.
There we are.
1967 was the only year that they would make a Telecaster that had these big swimming pool routes on other side of that lipstick pickup, huge ones. And the reason why they call it a smuggler's telly is because back then, drug dealers would hide their pot underneath that pickup, or their cocaine underneath that pickup in those routes, and and cross either Canada to the United States or wherever they were going, and they called it the smuggler's Telecaster.
Yep.
Yes,
For those touring musicians out there.
That's beautiful, Ben. That's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah. It's got
How's
a
it
lot
play?
of checking, a lot of wear, and this was Dad's #1 forever and a day.
How many refrets?
I think it's only got its second set of frets, but they're pretty dented, and of course there wasn't much height to begin with on the frets, as they are those very small, very no height whatsoever. I love them though. This is what I first learned on, so I learned with no frets, so I love no frets. Maybe I'd like jumbo frets if I started out on a guitar with big frets. I don't know. Who's to say?
Mm-hmm.
There we are. Let's grab another photo.
Yes, please.
All right. Let's close that.
I've been in this store now 2 times. I've got to play a bunch of guitars, and every time I see these photos, I still get excited.
Yeah, so many cool things
I
in
did
one
the word
place.
for it. I was thinking tone horny, but excited works because I just looked at that.
All right, so this is ridiculous.
Yep.
Look at all the custom colors.
Yep. And I'm noticing an awful lot of Strats with the ashtrays still on them too.
Almost all of them have it.
Mm-hmm.
These guitars are all in ridiculous shape. There's not one that is a player grade. They're all top collector's grade guitars. Every one of them.
What color red is that? Is that
That's Kenny Apple Red in the right in the
okay?
middle.
Right there.
Yeah.
What year is that one?
I believe that is a 62.
I'm in love with the blue one next to it with the color matching headstock.
Ocean turquoise.
Ocean
That
turquoise.
is
There we are.
Crazy.
That's insane. And
So
is this far down a Fiesta Red lefty?
Yes, it's
you-
yes, it's Fiesta Red. Yeah.
I'm trying not to curse.
So the 2 sunbursts in front of that Fiesta Red lefty are the 54s, and the sunburst. Oh, actually, there's 3 of them. The first 3 are 54s. The next one is a 55.
And I am very partial to this burst. It's something about the
That's-
yellowing of the knobs and pickup covers.
That's a 56.
Oh, yeah. One can dream.
My custom shop's built off of a 56 platform.
He doesn't have any 58s there. He said the reason why he doesn't is because in 58, the aniline red faded and the something about the paint flecked off easier than most other years. Like it chipped off and flecked off. The decal never wanted to stay on the headstock. There was something about that year where those guitars that aren't the chocolate sunburst, the ones with the red in them, the paint, something was up with the paint. So he, unless it's in immaculate condition, he will not own one.
Bozique, these guitars are in a dealer in New York called Well Strung Guitars. You can find them on the web. Dave and I actually interviewed the owner of this shop, David Davidson, sometime back. Find it in some previous. It was a great interview, all about vintage guitars and these. Dave has been visiting his shop the last couple of weeks. Posted a video last week of a 57 Les Paul that he played. He played a 59 Les Paul this week, that video will be posted in the next couple of days.
I noticed that too, Terry. Yeah, there's a Rickenbacker tucked up in the corner.
It's the only Rick. It's the only Rick in the store.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, you got to have a
couple-
token Ricky in the store.
There might be a Gretsch or two, but that's about it. And the rest are, it's just all Fender and Gibson.
Nice. Ooh, this is a different shot of those. Yeah, different shot of those Tellys. We'll take another look at that, and then we got one more.
I think there's one more that I took of the ones that are behind the ones we just took.
Okay. Yes, because you did say that.
This is the second half that we're about to show.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the second.
Esquires.
That's the second half of those guitars.
You ever
Very
owned an
nice.
Esquire, Dave?
Yes, I own the Jeff Beck Esquire.
Nice. They have their own mojo.
They sound great. I got a lot of money for mine, so I just couldn't say no.
Sure.
You know, Dave, Ben, anybody in the chat, have you guys checked out that newest Jimmy Page book, The Anthology? It's a big hard cover coffee
Yeah, I have
table
a
book.
buddy of mine just lent it to me a couple weeks ago, and I rifled through the whole thing, and he took it back. It's amazing.
It is an amazing book. I got that book for Christmas, and I was spending some time in that book recently. There's a lot. There's just as much in that book about Telecasters as there is about Les Pauls.
Yep. My favorite
it's,
guitar in that book is the brown Telly with the B bender.
That is
yeah.
that is a crazy cool guitar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So I think we have one more shot of some Strats and some Jazz Masters. Oh yeah, these are the guitars. That's a Mustang. Yes, that got sold. That's what got sold.
You bought that, didn't you, Dave? That's why they sold on it.
Nope. But do you see the blonde Stratocaster between that and the Esquire?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that is last week I told you there was a 1955 in blonde, and when have you ever saw one? Because they only started making them in 56.
Right.
That's the guitar right there. We were going to do a video of that, but someone put a deposit on it and doesn't want it to be seen.
Gotcha.
Other than this video, I mean, I can't do a video of it, but I was allowed to take a photo of it. So
And we'll just throw it out there. A lefty Esquire, too.
yes, 61, I believe.
Yeah.
61.
Beautiful.
Butter Jim says, "Gents, Jazz Masters." He wants to see some Jazz Masters.
Coming up.
Didn't see any Jazz Masters. We just had.
Should be in the corner. It should be in the. It should be in the corner of the next Strat photo.
Let's see. Did I get another Strat photo?
You should have gotten two.
I'm not seeing them. Let me go back over to Messenger.
Ben, have you ever played a Jazz Master?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
I don't-
Too complicated. Too many bells and whistles. I was
I
like,
don't
what's
really have
going
a lot
on
of it.
here? Is this Like
Oh,
Houston.
you know
what? I don't
You
have
did-
really any experience with a Jazzmaster whatsoever.
You didn't see it because I didn't take the picture. I'll take it. I'll take the picture
Well,
when I go back on Tuesday. I'm sorry, guys.
There we go. Well, there we are. We got to see some nice. You know, I'm going to have tone nightmares now. I'm gonna be like, yeah, remember that one? Yep, that was nice. Remember that
so
one
much
too?
so much soul in those guitars. You know, I mean, just
The amount of mojo oozing out of that place. You could just walk
There's a
down
lot
the
of
street and
mystique,
breathe
yeah.
it in.
Yeah. So, you'll be able to. Oh, you know what? I did a video. I just put a 5-second video up. You can. I'll show. Let's see if I can show it from here. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this little video. This video will have the second set of. Here it is.
Nice.
God, look at that. That's incredible. Yeah, video.
Blackguards just keep going.
Yep. I do need to see your Jazzmaster Boner Jams. He's got. He just recently picked up one of the Jim Root Jazzmasters. It's not your dad's
Oh, cool.
Jazzmaster.
Nice. Have you guys seen
Nice.
mine?
That's a rock and roll machine.
Not
I've
in
played.
a long enough time that I think we should see it again, Dave.
I'll pull it out after I'll whip it out right after I talk about this guitar real quick.
Here we go. Speaking of Boner Jams,
Hey Boner Jams, how are you? So, Todd, do you have anything else you want to add to before we get off the subject of well-strung guitars?
Well, I mean, since we just jumped on the subject of Jazz Masters, and we still have to talk about your Strat, and can you does a Jazz Master? I don't have any experience with the Jazz Master. I think that the offset shape and everything is super cool. And a couple of years ago, one of my favorite artists was playing that shape guitar. It was made by a boutique builder. It was made by John Sir, Ian Thornley, when he was
Sure.
playing that
Yeah.
Sir. I don't even remember what they called it. Maybe a JS or something. But that was. I know what they look like. I think they're super cool, but I don't know anything about the origin of a Jazz Master or why Fender made them or who they made them for. I mean, they're called Jazz Masters. So do they have little itty bitty frets? And
No, they don't.
are they made for jazz artists?
No, they're more of a surf guitar.
Okay.
I think back then they used to use the word "that's jazz, man." That's I'm so jazzed up, or it's jazz, it's cool. It's like that was the word for cool, or a word for cool.
yeah,
So they called it a Jazz Master. It was the Cadillac of the Fender guitars. It was supposed to be a better guitar than a Stratocaster, for lack of better words. Forgive me if it's not the right word, but it was supposed to be their top of the line guitar. Like the Stratocaster should have come in right underneath it. But the Jazz Master is supposed to be like the end all be all of Fender guitars. It was really, it's got a sound of its own.
What's the scale length?
It's 25.
25.
25 and a half. 25 and a
Okay.
half.
Okay.
Like a Fender. Although the neck seems a little longer because of the offset. It's not. You could put a Jazz Master neck in a Fender body, in a Stratocaster body, and it fit perfectly. It was
Paul said they were designed to be played while sitting.
Yes, they're very comfortable. Very comfortable sitting guitar. Surf music, Beach Boys, that style of music. Elvis Costello. That sound, watching the detectives, that's all Jazzmaster.
Yep.
That
I love surf music. I love the Ventures.
And then they had the.
Yeah.
It's funny because those offsets. I discovered them with the resurgence in the '80s, which would be your Sonic Youths, bands like that really embraced them. Noise rock, early alternative, stuff like that. And my dad said, why are they playing these cheap pawn shop guitars? Nobody played them back in the day because you may recall, Dave, you remember with the Maestro Trem, the bridges on some of them would move back and forth.
Right, but now they make a new style bridge, which I have on my guitar that fixes
to avoid that. Right, and that was the thing. Dad's like, you couldn't keep them in tune, blah blah blah, And then he saw like Sonic Youth play with all the feedback and stuff, and he went, "Oh, it doesn't matter because they're playing racket anyways." But they definitely had that resurgence through the late '80s, and then building up on the alternative scene. Then, of course, when Nirvana hit, forget about it. Mustangs, Jaguar, anything offset. You couldn't find one all of a sudden, and then I think that's what led to Fender bringing back by the '90s.
Yeah,
because they were. They never did a reissue in the '70s or the '80s, did they, Dave?
I don't think so. No.
Boner James likes the Ventures. He likes the Ventures too. He knows what's up. Yeah.
Cool.
Ventures
well,
rule.
I think Boner Jams has a Jim Root. I'm not sure if it's a Stratocaster or a Jazzmaster shape. I think he's got a Jim Root.
Jim Root did all three. He did a Telly, a Strat, and a Jazzmaster.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember which one
the
he has.
Telly. Oh, the Telly. It's like a Charvel. It's like a 12 to 14 inch radius neck, just one volume knob, flat
EMGs.
black, white guard, EMGs. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Y'all know how I feel about EMGs. I really, really, really like them.
I don't mind them. Like my main experience is in that Telly, and that Telly's never really sounded non-Telly like. I think EMGs mostly get a bad rap because the players that play EMGs play with so much gain you can't hear the pickup anyways.
Boner James has a Jazzmaster and a Strat. Yeah,
Very cool.
nice. Jim Root, Jazzmaster and Strat. Yeah, those are cool guitars.
So basically, the reason why the Jazzmasters are so popular with the punk scene and that type of is because if you wanted a Fender guitar that didn't sound like a Telecaster or a Stratocaster, a lot of those punk guys thought, well, if I buy a Stratocaster, I'm selling out because it's like everyone has one. Telecaster, everyone has one. We want something different, so they bought the Jazzmaster because it was different looking and different sounding.
Yeah, and then probably half the price, right? Because on the used market, Tellys and Strats were commanding bucks even. Guys were picking them up
but you know what? In the '60s, they were the most expensive Fender because they were the top of the line. They were more expensive than the Strat.
And I'm thinking probably by the '70s they were just hanging in pawn shop. Nobody wanted one, right?
Maybe you might be
and
right.
then, like a used Telly might be $200 in the pawn shop, but the Jazzmaster's $150. Hey, I can buy that combo amp now too.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So I'll show the Jazzmaster.
We're getting some Ventures love. We're getting Ventures love. See, I'm on the coast, in the East Coast, the coast of South Carolina is only a couple of hours from me by way of car. And Kurt said his first guitar teacher had him learn the Ventures first. I mean, you can learn a lot from surf music. A lot of rhythmic technique, a lot of picking technique, a lot of right hand. I think that stuff is super cool.
And no hiding. You're playing clean.
You're damn right.
And I love clean with the echo. It's so awesome.
And you're playing on flats as well. Flat wound strings. Which I have on my Jazzmaster. Which is amazing. It's an amazing feeling under your fingers. Well,
and now you tune them to drop B.
I'll show that guitar in just a minute. So I want to show you this guitar. So last week you saw that I had a red 1960 custom shop master built Strat, and the guitar I had before that was also master built, my black over Paisley with the large headstock. I originally wanted to sell a couple guitars to have a maple neck and a rosewood neck Strat. So I had, in order to get this Rosewood Strat neck quickly, because it would have sold in a heartbeat, I had to trade in my maple neck guitar, which was the black one, to get that guitar, which was fine. And immediately after I did that trade, 2 guitars that I was trying to sell had sold. So I had the money to buy another maple fretboard guitar. And I think I got a better one than I had. And this guitar is a custom shop 1955 Stratocaster. It's ash body, maple neck. This is a relic.
Very nice. Yeah,
So
It's a
very
nice
nice.
piece of wood too.
It is. It's got 6105 tall, thin frets on it. 7.2 pounds. It weighs exactly the same as the other Strat. These pickups are also the Wildwood 10 underwound pickups. It's very bell-like sounding. Notice I didn't get a very big relic guitar. My tastes have changed a bit. Fender is making all their relic guitars, or most of them, are so overly relic that they don't look real to me.
Right.
When you would see a guitar from the 50s or 60s, even if it's a guy that only had one guitar, generally he took care of the guitar. So you wouldn't see major parts of paint missing. You wouldn't see a lot of wood. I mean, the only 2 guitars that I know of that are not that are Steve Ray Vaughan's #1 guitar and Rory Gallagher's Strat.
Exactly.
And it's because they used to throw their guitars around. When Steve Ray Vaughan first got his guitar, it had a white pickguard on it, green, and it had almost all of the sunburst paint on it, almost all of it. And because of all the jewelry he wore, and when he used to, at the end of the show, he used to bang his guitar on the ground, he'd step on it, he'd throw it, he'd hit his amps with it, he'd beat the shit out of it. And that's why his guitar has very little paint on it. And then people said, oh, I like that idea. Fender, make something like that. And now every one of their guitars that come out of the custom shop that are relic are like that. But now they made what's called a Journeyman relic. Now the Journeyman relic is very lightly relic. You could see some pock marks and some dings, but it's got all its wood on it. It's very little paint missing. Very little wear on the neck, just in a couple spots, which is what you would have seen most guitars look like the ones you see in the shop that we showed you. So I happen to get very lucky and find this one. It's an amazing guitar. It's exactly the way I wanted it to look. It sounds incredible. And this is what I go for. This is the kind of thing I go for.
I was going to
So
say,
here it is.
Wildwood also does a really cool thing, I know, with a lot of the runs they do, the Relic Ready, which is they
Yes,
shoot
that's-
just a thin skin of nitro rather than a full paint. So
Correct.
you don't have to spend 10 years naturally relicking it to a journeyman. In
That's
theory,
what my
it should happen
red
in 2 to
guitar
3
is.
years.
My red guitar is relic ready.
Perfect.
And I got to tell you that finish is super thin. I've already put dings and scratches in the back of the guitar, and I looked the other day. I was like, "Did I do that?" That's amazing because it was like in brand new condition when I first got it.
Right.
2 days later, it had a bunch of scratches and dents, dents in it. And I've been babying these guitars a little bit. I haven't, not gigging. No one's gigging. No one's wearing belt buckles. It just so happens that it happened, and it happens easily. You could play a guitar for a half-hour a day for a month. That's relic ready, and it'll be well on its way to being a relic.
And look right, because you're
Yes.
relicking it in the right
Because you're
area.
beating it up. You're not forcibly beating it up. It's happening on its own.
Hey, Tube Supio, good to see you.
Hey, too, Supio.
Hey, what's going on? So this is the Strat. Got 2 of them, a maple neck and a rosewood neck. They are fantastic. They sound great. The
3-way switch or 5-way switch?
5-way on both.
Okay. Any blender knobs or anything?
No, but the tone knob is on the bridge pickup.
Okay.
Both guitars. Both the bridge pickup.
Norman says no buckle sweatpants. Love it.
I don't wear sweatpants. I don't like sweatpants because they'll fall right off. I've got no hips, so if I stand up, they're coming down. You don't want to see
They don't.
that. You don't want to see that, so I don't wear sweatpants.
So what you're
buckle
saying is
sweatpants.
when you go walking across the room, Desiree starts singing "Come Together," but it's "Here Comes Old Flat Bum."
It's terrible. And sometimes she'll come up behind me and go, whoop. That's not good. This is not good. But anyway.
But only when you're holding the walker, so you have no defense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not wearing underwear. I'm wearing jeans. Nice picture of my crotch. And now we just went to rated R.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, you want to see more of that? That's the other channel. That's on the OnlyFans live stream.
Jeez. All right, so you guys hang out for a minute while I go get the Jazz Master, okay?
Yeah, get the Jazzmaster. Let's chat about that.
Be right back.
Mm-hmm. And welcome, Norman. I think Norman's new in here. Awesome.
Yeah, hey, Norman.
Norman is actually a friend of mine. He lives here on Long Island.
Oh, cool.
Well, you have my condolences for knowing Dave, Norman. 1 week, Ty. It's all tuck, right? 1 week.
That's it. That's it. Hey, Ben, what's behind you? Is that a cigar box guitar behind you?
That is a cigar box guitar.
We have to talk about that after the Jazzmaster. Because that'll be a nice segue into what you guys are going to do tomorrow.
That's right. Reminds me, I got a tune for the cigar box guitar. Actually, it's kind of in tune. I don't know what it's tuned to, but it's tuned to itself.
Hey, thanks, Lars. I like this one a lot. When you come on to show us your 68, we'll talk about this one and maybe kind of compare it because this one's in. I think this is a 2008. So I think yours is probably more historically correct than mine is. But thank you for the compliment.
Actually, Norman doesn't live in Long Island anymore. He lives in Florida now. But it's Long Island South. New York
Edwin
South.
Crane, Jeff K. What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
Hey, Edwin.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Jeff.
And
All right,
last
so-
made it home from work.
So,
What's up,
really
Doc?
cool. Are we talking about that cigar box? Can I see that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we segue into tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Yes.
Just a preview. That was a preview, folks. Just a preview. A
All right,
teaser,
so-
if you will.
So here's my Jazz Master. It's a custom shop.
Nice.
This is a 59.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's very cool. I love the shape. I don't know what. Sorry, I apologize if I'm going to bore the chat with my ignorance. But what do those switches do on the upper horn?
They're just different tone switches. They give you different tonal qualities of the pickups. Also, let me show you.
So,
This
like,
has-
there's an out of phase switch. There's a. I mean, what do they do?
Well, you got the what?
it's like
You
a
got your
bright
three-way
or
pickup selector.
yes.
I'm trying not to confuse it with the Jaguar layout too.
They're bright and dark for each pickup.
Right.
Okay.
So you know how you have a master tone down here. These
Mm-hmm.
are toned for each pickup,
Okay.
and then you have a three-way switch. Oh, sorry, it's a two-way switch, where down is a little bit brighter, up is even kind of like that.
Okay.
So I keep it on bright, pretty much as bright. And what I did was I took the 1 meg pots out, which were super, super bright, and put two 50K pots in it, which brings it down to normal, like what your ears would like to hear. And it sounds ridiculous. The guitar sounds so good. And this tremolo, what an amazing idea.
Those Maestro
Oh
trends.
man, I can hear the surf in that right away.
Yeah.
And they stay in tune. And if you can take a look at the flat wound strings.
So what
And I
are the
will
frets
say,
like
Ty,
on that?
that switch up
Yeah.
in the top there, when you're gigging with those, a lot of guys would just put a piece of tape over that switch because you're going to hit that switch at some point for some reason.
Okay.
The amount of times I've seen tape over those controls is like you set them where you want it, you lay a piece of tape over them, keep them where they are. Those things are great guitars.
Really good. I never thought I would own a Jazzmaster. Never had the reason to, never had the want to. And recently, I'm going to blame Tom Bukovac for it because watching his show every day, and he's a session guy in Tennessee, in Nashville, probably the most hardest working one, maybe other than Brent Mason. He has a collection of guitars that he calls his toolbox guitars, and I've mentioned this before. If you're going to do sessions, you need to have at least one of everything that you need. You need to have a 12-string. You need to have a 6-string acoustic. You need to have a Jazzmaster. You need to have some sort of P90. You have to have a couple of different humbuckers. You have to have a rosewood and maple Strat. You have to have a Telly, probably 2 Tellys. You have to have a Rickenbacker. You have to have all kinds of sounds because if you are called to do a certain gig, you never want to tell them, I can't do that, I don't have that sound. I can't get that sound. Because you will never get hired again.
Yep.
You have to have one of everything. And when I got this guitar, I said to my guy, I plugged it in, and I'm like, well, why didn't I want this forever? Because this guitar sounds incredible. It's got its own sound. It's just a guitar, and yeah, it's a little weird looking, but once you get past the weirdness of the look and think of it as a tool, it's an expensive tool, but hell, you want a screwdriver that works, right? You want a good pair of pliers that's gonna do what you need. A needle nose that's gonna hold the smallest wire. You need a pair of clippers that's going to clip your strings, that's not going to not clip them. This is one of those things. You need a very good version of it. Yeah, you may
That's
not
cool.
use it. You may not use it for every song, but when you need it, it's there.
Paul says Jazzmasters are tone monsters. Edwin says, I love those. Terry is explaining. He says, Terry, this is a good explanation. Thank you for this, Terry. He says, normally top switch switched into jazz mode, isolating the neck pickup, and the roller controls are for tone and volume of the isolated neck pickup with a darker tone cap on it. Thank you for that. And then Chad says you have to have an Ibanez Gem. So,
Right.
Well, you have to have a Floyd Rose guitar for such a thing with at least one humbucker and maybe some single coils.
Yeah.
You have to have at least one. Now I have like 30 of them, but
we like what we like, right?
Yes.
We like what we like. Shouldn't apologize for it.
right. You need to have some sort of semi-hollow guitar. So I have a 335, a real good one. You know, you have to have these are the things. If you're a gigging musician or you're a studio session guy, if you're gigging, you need to have the right tools to gig with. There's no such thing as one perfect guitar. Now, that being said, you're not taking 20 guitars with you to a gig unless you got a cartridge company doing it for you and you're on the road nationally or internationally. You know, the most guitars I'm going to take with me is 2 because they're going to be in a double gig bag on my back. I'm going to carry one amp in hand and my pedal board in the other hand. That's it. But you take a Strat, you take a Les Paul, a humbucker, and a single coil guitar.
Yep.
But when
Good
you
Lord.
Fuchs is asking any GNL love. I think we all like.
I
GNLs.
love G&Ls. I don't own any at the moment, but I love them. They're great.
I do too.
You need Edwin. You need to own some sort of National Steel or Dobro as well. Now that I don't own yet.
Right. Flirted with them on and off over the years.
Yeah, I love
Terry's
the sound of the Dobro.
3G says that's awesome, and yes, David has the right tools to do everything. Now I agree. Not much he doesn't have. That's yes and no. There's a couple things I really need to get that I'm not willing to spend the money on right now.
I'm only
need-
thinking of two things off the top of my head, Dave.
I need a 12 string. I need
Yeah, I was going to say a 12 and the dobro.
I need a dobro. I need a what's that? A baritone. I need a baritone guitar.
Oh, yeah, right. A baritone. Yep.
I need a banjo and I need a mandolin.
Nice.
Very nice.
And a dulcimer if you get into Zeppelin covers.
I have a friend that is way into the dulcimer, and he's very good at it. And what a beautiful instrument!
They are very cool. Yeah, all that Zeppelin stuff you think's mandolin, a lot of it's dulcimer. John Paul Jones.
I mean, can we just talk? We should dedicate a whole show to the brilliance and the creativity of that
Of
band.
Led Zeppelin? Yeah.
Oh my
Sure.
Lord.
I'm into it.
Damn. Well, you don't have to tell the guy he's got Jimmy Page's guitar tattooed on his arm, so I'm down.
Yeah, I'm floored at the amount of creativity in that band. Yeah. So Ben, you're holding a very unique instrument. Tell us about that.
Yes. Now, first of all, Ty, I'm unsure the length of the neck tenon. I'm not sure. Just to tie things all together, right?
Dave probably knows.
This is a 3-string cigar box guitar made by friend of the channel, Brendan B. Squared of B Squared Cigar Box Guitars. Check them out on Etsy.com.
Butt cheeks.
Butt cheeks. Exactly. It's got a brass nut because it's a piece of brass rod. It's got I don't know, like two. It's like one silver-looking string and two kind of bronzy-looking strings. I don't know what he's doing with it. He made the bridge with a piece of fret wire in it. So sure, intonation's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to changing these strings. They go through the bridge, and then there's a nail going through the ball ends of the strings, which I think is perfect for a cigar box guitar. And I play this thing acoustically, electric. I run it through my pedal board. The action's high enough to play slide on it, and just about low enough you can still fret stuff out on it too.
So with 3 strings, again, I apologize to everyone for my ignorance. With 3 strings, it's a triad instrument.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Open G. I think open G.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, it's not in tune, but in theory it would be open G.
That's G.
And
Yes.
you can play all your favorite Rolling Stones covers on it, and it just gives it a little bit of a country feel.
That's very, very cool. And so, that's a good segue into Nez Says Thursday night tomorrow. Dave and Ben, you're interviewing. Tell us about tomorrow night's guest, Dave.
Well, tomorrow night we're going to have a friend of mine who is in the band called the Helicasters. His name is Will Ray. He lives in North Carolina. An amazing guitar player. He was a G&L endorsee for a very long time, and now he enjoys playing different box guitars, cigar box guitars. When I used to go visit my dad down there twice a year, Will would come over and we'd sit in the living room and just play guitar for hours. And he became a very good friend of mine.
Nice.
And he's willing to come on tomorrow and talk to us about his career, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Check it out.
And now he's into cigar box guitars, right?
Yes, but not like the one that Ben was just holding. They're 6-string guitars. They're different, varying size cigar box bodies with Squire necks on them, or Brownsville necks, or they're inexpensive, made to feel pretty good. He gets a kick out of taking a really crappy guitar and making a good cigar box guitar out of it.
That's cool.
Very cool.
That's cool.
So they all play pretty good. They all set up pretty good. They're and some of them are very crude, but some of them are like really good. He got bored with playing, really good guitars, and he wanted to see if he can sharpen his skills even more by playing the crappiest little cigar box guitars, and it's cool. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Norman's got a cool story. He says his father-in-law played a 63 Jaguar, played it every single day until his passing. And aside from the wear from his fingernails, it's flawless.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. Terry says, ask a question. He said, doesn't Will Ray also write articles for a guitar magazine?
I believe he does. I believe he does. I spoke to him for a minute last week. I haven't spoken to him in maybe close to a year. So I don't know what he's doing these days, but we'll all find out tomorrow.
That's cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure it'll be
Being
fun.
a lifelong fan of that style of music, and
And
Like say-
we'll probably do an in depth on his slide playing, because he's got these little rings that he wears on his fingers that are actually called they're his slides. They're Will Ray slides, and they're not
Awesome.
like bottle slides. They're just like little rings, and he plays single string. Like, it's really cool, and he's allowed.
I have-
I've seen those. I tried it
I've-
once.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with that technique because I've seen guys that can use that technique in combination with chordal playing, chicken picking, and you start getting those slides and slurs, on those. I mean, that is some really unique, crazy, cool
Yeah.
stuff.
So I don't know what he has in store for us as far as what guitars he's going to show, but it's going to be very interesting tomorrow.
It's gonna be cool.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Right here, folks.
All the way live.
Get those
That's
questions ready. And I think he even had a couple signature guitars with Fender over the years, too.
Yeah, he did for a little bit. Actually, he had one, I believe. John Jorgensen flirted with G&L and then went to Fender. And Jerry Donahue has a Fender guitar as well.
Yeah. I just remember looking, I made a note of it here. Yeah. A Jazzicaster and a Mojo Telly. Just those names.
Yeah. But the cool thing on his G&L guitars are his inlays. He's got a bolo, a neck bolo of this skeleton head, and they made that skeleton head all of his inlays on his Stratocaster.
Oh, that's cool.
Guitars.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's
Very
going to be
cool.
a good one.
Ben, what do you have coming up this weekend on your channel?
That's a good question, Ty. I suppose I should get on that and book somebody. Actually, I do have a feeler out to a guest. I haven't heard back yet, so I may have a guest. I may do a community hang. We'll see. Yeah, Sunday night hang. We'll see about that. And then, of course, Canucks with Guitars on Monday. And then I probably have a demo coming out on Friday. What's the demo on, Ty? Don't know. Haven't shot it yet. Guess what I'm doing tomorrow?
That's cool. Paul says, Ty, how did you and Dave meet? We met through YouTube. I mean, I would watch Dave and content that he was a part of and produced, and I was very impressed with his technical knowledge of the guitar. And then I learned that he had a reputation of doing some legendary guitar work as a technician, and I started sending him guitars, and we developed a friendship and a rapport, through that type of communication, and that's how we met. And listen, if you're Dave is he is a masterful technician.
Thank you, Ty.
In doing guitar setups and repairs and all that stuff that I don't know how to do. And he's also, I think one of the things that separates Dave from others in the field is that because he has so much playing experience, you can talk to him in a way, and he seems to really understand what you need, because I have never sent him a problem where he didn't send it back fully resolved. And
Well, that means the world to me. I appreciate that.
well, it's different. You know, you don't just throw your guitar in the back of your car and drive it to a local shop. I mean, you make some effort to send it to New York and send it up to Dave, and you box it up and you send it, and Dave gets it. But you know, he always does things really quickly, or as quick
Turnaround
as
is
time
usually very
allow.
quick. Yeah.
And I mean, assuming he doesn't have to wait for parts and all of that stuff or whatever you need. And so that's how we met. And I can't tell you, he's taken my calls on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning or whatever. And I've said, hey, I've got this issue, you know, give me a quick fix to get this through. And, you know, and he can explain it. He can articulate it well enough for me to fix it myself. Cause I'm a player, but I'm not as, I should probably be a little more tech savvy with these things than I really am. But I'm glad I have Dave that I can call on and get it done. So if you are, he does have a business where he does this. And so if you want a legendary setup, send him a guitar. Give him a chance to set up your guitar, and it will spoil you rotten.
Now, the link is www.theguitarwhisperer.guru. Maybe Ben can put that up there for us. And that's the website. You can contact me through there. Leave your phone number, email, whatever you want to leave, and once I see it, once I get that email, I generally call you right then and there. Just to, you know, I'll call you if you're making the effort to contact me. I'm going to call you right back. So that's what I like to do. I like to gain rapport. I like to gain your trust. And we talk a bit. You tell me what you want. You tell me what you like. And that's basically it. This is Dennis calling. I'll call him back later.
And thanks, Terry, for posting the link to my channel in here.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So yeah, that's it. I also me and my buddy, my partner, we also build guitars. We build replica guitars. We'll build you any bolt-on guitar you want, really, as long as a body and a neck is made. We will build and paint you whatever you want. Now, we don't do factory shiny finishes, but we do certain guitars that of a gentleman that just passed that we all love. We do exact replicas of those. We do Steve Vai's guitars. I have a flame guitar that we did. We do the Green Meanie. That's going to cost a bunch because to find the stickers for that guitar is the neck is.
That's what I was most impressed with.
Probably the hardest thing in the world, maybe harder than heart surgery. And I mean,
Yeah, good luck finding
yeah.
vintage skateboard stickers, because I had all those when I was a kid, and guess what? I put them all on my skateboard, Ty, and they got ground up on sidewalk curbs and such.
But we do all the George Lynch stuff. We do the tiger, the yellow tiger. We do all that stuff. Basically, you give us a photo of what you want done, and we could probably make an exact replica of it. So.
Pooh Ninja says gems, and gems. Good to see you, man.
Now
I don't.
It's very hard to find, and gems would be very, very expensive because to outsource a guy to make a gem neck is they're like $1,200 just for the neck. So if you want a gem, save your shekels because it's expensive. Hi, Larry Fitzgerald.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry Fitzgerald. Speaking
and thank you so much. He says this is real artist work. Thank you so much. Now, Larry Fitzgerald is a guy. He's one of my dearest friends. He is a real luthier. He is a real guitar builder. He is actually where I learned how to do setups. It's very funny that he's watching because the setups that I do on guitars come from long nights of me in his house working on my personal guitars, sitting there. Now, Larry, I think we can get it a little lower. Okay, Dave. Well, no, I think we can get a little lower than that. I think we can make this guitar 1/32 at the 12th fret. Dave, it's going to buzz. No, Larry, let's try it. Okay, it's done. And if it buzz, he'd take the strings off and do a grind and polish on the frets just to make it perfect. This guy has taught me almost everything I know, and when I need something done to my guitars, he's the guy I go to.
Yeah,
So,
it's an honor to
Larry
have you here,
Fitzgerald.
Larry.
Larry Fitzgerald, you're amazing. You're the guy. You're the guy.
Yeah,
I'm just the guy that learned from the guy.
that's cool. That's an awesome.
And
story.
welcome, Larry.
Yes, welcome.
I can do those setups too, Paul. I can set up a guitar or a vape pen. Sure, I can
There you
dial
go.
it. Well, just so you know, just so Paul knows, I vape at. Let's see if we can get the wattage here if it focuses. I vape at 5150 wattage.
Oh my God.
Because why not? If you can set it by a half watt, why not, right?
Sure.
It's
It works the
hilarious.
exact same as 50, but 5150 is cooler.
That's cool. What else we got, Dave?
Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is Will Ray. I think either tomorrow or by Friday, God willing. I know how very busy Ty is, and Ty has this gig where it takes him around the country almost every weekend for the next 2 or 3 months. So his travel days are Thursday. So the video for this week's Guitar of the Week will be out sometime before the weekend. You'll be able to check it out. It's about 7 or 8 minutes long. It is on Bill Carson's Rosewood Telly, which is not a Rosewood Telly. Check it out. Please give it a like if you enjoy it. Please give this video a like if you can. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. And click that bell because it'll give you all the notifications of when we're on. We're starting to do Wednesdays because Wednesdays, I believe, are a bit better for us right now. It allows Ty to actually do these shows because since he is a gigging musician again and he's out every weekend and he does travel on Thursday nights, we figured we want him on here. I'd rather have him on here than not have him on here. So we moved the show to Wednesday nights for now. Yes, we're on tomorrow night because Will Ray couldn't do any other night, so we're doing tomorrow night with Will. But Wednesday nights, I think, is going to be the night for us for a while anyway. We'll see how it happens.
For sure.
Please join us every week. And again, thank you so much for being with us. Ben, Ty, thank you so much for doing this every week. You guys work your rear ends off.
Love it.
You make us all look good. And we will see you all.
Good to see you, Ben. Have a
yeah.
great week.
See you, Ty and Dave.
Have a good one,
Yes.
Dave.
You too.
Cheers, everybody in the chat.
We'll all see you
Cheers,
tomorrow
everyone.
night.
Have a great week.
You too. Hang out, guys.